Hey, I'm Haya, and in today's episode of Digging Deeper Real Talk, we're going to talk about something very real: why I only have one child. Welcome back to our Digging Deeper vlog. You can find me at diggingdeeperforsuccess.com, and I work with high-achieving women and aspiring high achievers, multi-passionate women who are really motivated, inspired, and working hard to conquer their dreams and really make their dreams a reality in their life. But today we're not going to be talking about very high, aspirational, lofty goals. Today we're going to be talking about something very real, very raw, and something very near and dear to my heart. Now today, you're gonna have to forgive me with the wind noise and the road noise. I'm coming to you from my mama's front porch, and I'm visiting in Texas, and there's a lot of noise everywhere. There's family and people crawling everywhere, and this is the only quiet place I could find. So we're gonna try our best to make this work. So today, like I told you, is very real, very raw. I have no script. I have no outline. I don't normally have a script, but usually I have at least an outline. And today I am just talking to you straight from my heart. And I'm going to share with you about my own journey with secondary infertility. Now, I have to tell you, if there is a talk or a topic I never thought I would be giving, this one right here is it. So I have a 13-and-a-half-year-old son, as many of you know, and I get asked questions all the time about why I only have one child. Now, my husband and I, my second husband, got married about 8 years ago, and he has a daughter from his first marriage, and I have a son from my first marriage. And we both had planned to start our combined family right away, and of course, things don't always go according to plan. One of the things that I did not know, and I found out across the course of these last 8 years, is that secondary infertility is actually quite common. So infertility itself affects about 1 in 8 families, so 12.5% of the population. But over half of those couples are struggling with secondary infertility, which means that they were able to have a baby in the beginning, and then after that, something happened. Now, I know that nobody likes to be a statistic, and we don't like talking about our biggest pains and challenges and heartbreaks in life in terms of statistics. But the reason I share those numbers is because I think sometimes it gives us a little bit of validation and comfort just to know that we're not alone. And there have been so many times on this journey that I have felt very alone. And the emotional cycle that goes along with something like this is crazy. You know, there's these really high highs followed by low lows, and the highs are of hopes and, you know, fresh commitment, and it's gonna work this time, and this doctor or this specialist or this treatment or this miracle. And then, you know, it's followed by really deep lows of frustration and hopelessness and guilt and shame and, you know, just wanting to give up and cut out the world and put your defenses up so that you don't have to be vulnerable to the pain and to people's well-meaning but very hurtful questions and comments and suggestions along the way. So secondary infertility, or any infertility at all for that matter, is certainly something I never thought I would deal with. In my first marriage, I had 2 consecutive miscarriages after my son was born. So I definitely was already familiar with the heartbreak of loss and the loss that comes from, you know, the pain of losing a baby. The first one was already at the very beginning of my second trimester, and the second miscarriage was very early on, but it doesn't change the pain. And I know that miscarriages are something that so many women struggle with. I was shocked as I learned how many women struggle with miscarriage, even in today's day of modern medicine. But because I had always been able to get pregnant so easily, I thought I would be pregnant within the first year of marriage. And I was 35 when I got remarried, so I wasn't a spring chicken, but I wasn't super old either, so I was perfectly happy with that age. And the first year went by, the second year went by, the third year went by, and in all this time, we were seeking medical treatment, we were seeking consultation, we were doing traditional Western medicine, we were doing alternative methods, and just seeking advice, suggestions, expertise from anyone and everyone that we could find. And long story short, 8 years later, now I'm 43, and we're still here. We still have our 2 combined children and none of our own. And the number of times that people ask us, well, didn't you want to have more children? Or are you going to have more children? Or how many kids do you have? Where is the rest of your family? When they come to our house and see only my son at home. And it's painful. It's really painful. And I have no judgment whatsoever for the people who ask the questions, because they're very natural questions, and I totally understand. I totally get it. I don't take it personally, but it is quite painful and exhausting and frustrated to have to go through those conversations every single time. And I've yet to find a polite way to shut them up without sounding rude. But I'll tell you, one of the most painful things for me actually is how painful it's been for our son. Because ever since we've gotten remarried, my son has been expecting and anticipating and so hopeful for a little brother or a little sister. You know, the years have passed now, and he's gone from hopeful to a little bit bitter, to be honest with you. And it's very, very painful for him. And, you know, we have lots and lots of cousins that come in and out of the house all the time. And he says, you know, constantly when he's frustrated with them, or he's irritated with them, or they're having too much togetherness, and, you know, he's ready for them to go home or something. At the end of the time, I say, see, if you were an only child, you couldn't send them home. He says, Mommy, if they were my siblings, it would be different. I know I would fight. I know we would argue, but they have bonds that we'll never have. And it just rips my heart out to see the pain. And so lately I've been working really hard on navigating those conversations to focusing on a different perspective and really acknowledging and validating his pain. Because even if we were to miraculously have a child now, it would never be the same for him, because he would already be basically finishing high school before, you know, they were to the playing age, if you will. So of course we know that life never turns out as we expect it to, and this is just one of those pieces of our story. And we do have so much to be grateful for, and I would never, ever, ever forgive myself if I came across as ungrateful or unaware of all of the blessings that we do have in our life. But we all have those little parts of us, you know, tucked away deep inside, that we just say, what if? What if this one piece had been different? So I am a big believer in miracles, and I'm certainly never giving up hope. And without going into too much detail on a very, very private piece of our life, I do have reason to hold out for a very, very, very big, crazy, wonderful, fabulous miracle. And I hope that one day I will be making a video to tell you the story of that miracle. But in the meantime, I'm also hitting a phase where I'm just realizing that, you know, an entire decade has gone by, for the most part, of me putting parts of me on hold, thinking that there will be another baby coming soon. And I can't keep doing that. I can't just keep parts of me and parts of my life and parts of my plan on hold, thinking, what if? So the new phase, the new chapter of my life is really focused on embracing what our life looks like right now, and fully accepting this life as a family like we are right now with our daughter in college and our son finishing junior high, and just allowing our family to be complete just as it is right now. And yes, we have considered all sorts of alternative treatments, and we've considered adoption, and there's so many things that we have considered, and there are so many reasons why those haven't worked out. So without going into all of those different reasons, I just want to share with any of you who may be struggling with this same situation or with something similar, that you really are not alone. It can't be that half of every couple going through infertility treatments or struggling with infertility are struggling alone. It can't be that we all feel so alone in this type of a situation. I know that there are lots of families out there that have an only child because they want an only child, or they have 2 or 3 or however many kids that, it could be that you've got 5 kids and you wanted 7 and now you're struggling with infertility. So wherever you're holding, wherever you are, whatever your story is, you could be strong and powerful and amazing and fabulous in everything that you're doing and be so grateful for that family that you have. But there might just be a little piece of you that is feeling alone and sad and frustrated and deeply disappointed because you feel like your chapter, your book, your story, your family isn't complete. And I just want you to know that I hear you and I feel you, and I am holding so much space for you. You're not alone. And if you don't have a safe space that you can talk about it, or you feel like it's not appropriate or it's not acceptable or it's not commonplace or whatever, I just want you to know that I'm here. I'm happy to be your friend. You've got a friend in me. I've got your back. I've got a safe space for you if it's something that you just want to be heard. You may not want to have a dialogue about it. You may just want to be able to put it out there, and I'm here for you. And I know that nobody's life is perfect. We all have struggles, and the point of life isn't waiting for life to be perfect. The point of life is the struggles, and it's those struggles that define and build and refine our character and make us who we are. The joy is in the journey. It's such a cliche thing to say because the pain, the struggle, the mess, the heartache, the gut-wrenching heartbreak are also a part of the journey. But that beautiful, fabulous, chaotic, messy world, that is what makes us who we are. And so it's our job to really elevate all of that struggle into our higher purpose, and to find joy and find gratitude and find our deepest soul, and to be able to become comfortable in our own skin and be proud of who we are, proud of our heritage, where we've come from, proud of that journey, proud of our never-ending evolution, proud of who we are right now, even while we're still working on becoming. As I've shared with you many times, I'm a big believer that as long as God has me still on this earth breathing, it means that there is more to learn and more to do. So if my family stays exactly like it is, I am working on being whole and complete with that. And if God should bless us with more children one day, I will be ecstatic about that too. So for right now, my project and my passion is to become just as ecstatic right now as it would be if I were to be able to paint this picture perfect ending. So if you're in this journey with me, thanks for being here. It's so good. It's so comforting to know that we're not alone, and we will keep digging deeper together. Love you, my friend.